Hi everybody, welcome to FitPro Q&A. It's Neil and myself here, and we've got a great guest lined up for today, and his name is Anton Gillmore. Anton has actually been in the boxing game for many, many years. How many years has it been, Anton?
38 years.
38 years. Where did you start off your career?
Well, I started in 1985, 28th of January, got smashed in the face by a kid from school. I was the smallest kid in school, and I started boxing that night.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And the coaching side of things?
I've been coaching for 21 years here at Southern Suburbs Boxing Club, where I started my boxing career, and then I turned it into a commercial entity as well, called it Box Office.
Okay. And what type of people do you coach? Is it professionals or is it amateurs? What kind of people is it?
Well, look, I started initially, I opened the gym up to look after the man on the street, and I realized boxing was good for the mental side of life. So it was all commercial. Then I had a couple guys arrive and they said, no, they want to start fighting. So, and naturally, I got my license as an
Oops.
after that, so well, let me go to the pro side because I had one of the SA champion join me and he wanted me to take him to the SAs and whatever. And so I started that. So I've been coaching amateurs, pros, and white collar people since 2001.
Okay. You yourself were also pretty successful in your own career?
Yeah, I had 27 professional fights. I was rated number three in the world. I fought for the world title twice. I beat the WBF world champion and the Commonwealth champion, which was rated was nominated fight of the year. And then I fought Cassius Malloy in 1997 for the world title. That was the first time two South Africans fought for the world title ever against each other. So 100 years of pro boxing in South Africa, and we were the first.
Cool. Anton, it's really great to have a person with such experience on our show. So thank you very much for joining our channel. I'd just really like to know the Southern Suburbs Boxing Gym. Where are you guys in your business right now? How can the community and help you? And what are you looking to achieve in business at the moment?
I'm so glad you asked that question because right now, Southern Suburbs Recreation Centre, where we are based, throughout lockdown, it was lockdown and it came into disrepair. And so I'm trying to fix up the recreation centre because this was the hub of sport in the south. And so we're currently building it up again. We're fixing up the gardens and all the painting that needs to be done. So from a community perspective, I'd love people to join us and help us repair the place. But from my perspective and our project Fight with Insight, which I'm one of the directors with Luke and Sherry, is we've started a mental workshop here. We're just about to, because a lot of kids in the area are impoverished and they have no skills and they're going to finish school and they're not going to get jobs. You know what it's like, okay? So we are building a metal workshop. We've got a t-shirt printing company. I've got the equipment. So we're going to teach the kids how to do that. And then at the same time, we are going to teach them carpentry and things like that because people are leaving school and they have to go get jobs. And we're going to try to give them artisan trades before they leave school. So that once they leave here or they leave school, they can get jobs. Most of those kids stay on with us for years. Some of the kids at Fight with Insight have been with us since 2008, which is 14 years. So they never leave because we've got a really special project and the camaraderie and the association, the mastery, and everything that we offer through our project just keeps the kids coming back because the funny thing is, I was going down a road there, but I've had guys that I trained that were 15 years old. They came back to me when they were 29, 30, and they said, life's a bit hampering at the moment. I want to come back to boxing just to sort myself out. And they landed up becoming pro boxers, which is phenomenal. I
Wow.
mean, they're going from a little kid at 15 to a professional boxer. So one of my guys, Darren Dickinson, is one of those guys, and now he's a heavyweight, which is he might be the great white hope. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's right. So it sounds more like I mean, you've got a passion, you've got something in your heart there that's driving you. So this is more like a ministry in a way, an outreach, than it is a business. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, it does because I've never actually been one of those people that chase after money. I prefer looking after people. Just to give you some the reason why I came from an impoverished alcoholic background with my parents, and I was in a foster home at the age of 4, and my second foster home at the age of 11, and I realized how important it is to have good people that can look after you. So some of these kids go to foster homes that aren't that good, and I realized that a boxing gym and a coach becomes the other father. So it's my way of saying to society, I can do what you did for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think the boxing whole arena or the boxing uh, fraternity in South Africa probably took a bit of a knock over many, many years where it declined as a sport. What is the next thing for sport? Where is it going? What is going to make it more of a commercial success?
So, there's people that say boxing is dead. It's not dead. It's actually more alive than it's ever been. But boxing is alive in different sectors. Okay. So the white collar side and the fitness side is massive. We had these fads that went on. We had the spinning, we had the aerobics, and we've had the CrossFit and whatever. I believe boxing is the next element that's going to take us into it's boxing's birthplace. It's time, it's happening now where boxing is going to become the mainstream fitness alternative.
Mm, mm.
Um, and because there's so many white collar directors of major companies and that are getting into the sport, they'll start to put their money into the sport so we can develop the sport properly. Because if people realize the all the elements of boxing are so useful to children. But funny thing is, I didn't come here for children. I came here for people that were my age when I was in my 20s to help them because if you've got depression or any mental aspect that's not going well in your life, boxing is the best way to sort that out. So essentially, I'm looking at boxing being lifted up by the fact that the white collar crowd are coming into boxing.
All right. What is white collar boxing all about?
It, it's an interesting thing because white collar boxing essentially was people that were lawyers, accountants, and degree people, and they started boxing, and they found that boxing was effective for them. But it's gone to a blue collar thing where the man in the street that's doing hard labor during the day needs a release, and so it's becoming white collar and blue collar, and we actually have another name for it. It's now become master box, which is somebody that wants to master boxing, but is also of age. And in that statement, I have to tell you about something called master box. Yeah.
So, Anton, there's so many aspects to boxing, and so many people just focus obviously on the fitness side of it. But with all of your experience and with all of the things that boxing has awarded for you, it seems like it's a complete mental health program. It's a developmental program. People are mentoring each other, and I think that your hub is a beautiful place to share that message with the fitness community and let people know that it's not just about aerobics, it's not just about exercise. It's just about so much more than that. So thank you for sharing that. What is the next step in your journey at the moment in 2022, past these rough times that everyone's gone through in all communities, in all gyms? How do you think the community can move forward, the boxing community? Is there anything that you're busy doing leading the way forward?
So look, the fitness industry and boxing coming on, I think boxing's stolen a couple ideas from CrossFit because you've got a hybrid of boxing and CrossFit at the moment. And people are loving it because there's challenges on both sides. Is it, can I beat that guy? And also, can I achieve that weight and the repetitions? And so that's going to be a very big thing. Also, the fact that boxing is being used as an article to help the youth. So that's going to be very big as well. And then from a competition perspective and tournaments, we've got ESPN in South Africa. They are doing a tournament once a month. And I mean, if you get ESPN in South Africa and they showcasing our talent, it's a big thing because it's an international American-based TV program.
Sure.
So that's good. And then I really do believe boxing is going to be used not as a fad. It's actually going to become the mainstream in this country for looking after the youth and taking the youth off the street and giving them moral fiber. And that's the main thing about boxing, because it's honor, respect, dignity that are all attached to that. And also, you know, you're going to lose a fight and you've got to move forward positively. You're going to look at why you lost and you're going to come back. So it's going to give this phoenix type idea where you die and you rebirth and you come back and you win again, you know. And that's what life is. I mean, many people have been take Donald Trump. I mean, he's been bankrupt 3 or 4 times in his lifetime, but he's always made a comeback. And that's what life is. And boxing teaches that you're going to have a loss. I fought for the world title in 1996 in America. I lost that fight. I carried on 2 fights. 3 fights later, I was fighting for the world title again, because you pick up, you learn, you go on. And that's what boxing is all about. It's an element that teaches us that life is hard, but you pick up and you carry on. From the fitness aspect, there's nothing like it, because it works on your anaerobic and your aerobic side of training. So you're going to be fit and strong. From a mental perspective, you're just going to be well geared to handling life stresses. And then in terms of a societal thing and community development, it's just going to draw the people in. And through our boxing gym, we did 1,800 of street cleaning with 15 beggars and all my kids in my Fight with Inside project throughout lockdown. And we cleaned 8 kilometers of street in the south of Johannesburg, because I've got an OCD problem about weeds in the gutter. And if you fix up your environment, then people feel better about themselves, but they have to do it themselves. I can't do it for them. So you start to engage the community and you say, let's go forward and let's fix our environment. And from there, you guys will feel better about it, because you clean the streets and you'll start to look after it a little bit more. So, you know, boxing is so deep as to how many avenues you can go down with this. I mean, if it was a soccer club and they did that, it would do the same thing. But essentially, boxing is doing that because boxing's got all the elements of what's going to fix your brain, and it's a hard sport, eh?
Yeah.
It's the
But
loneliest sport in the
but
world.
maybe that brings me to the question: is it really open to anybody? I mean, can ladies, for instance, is it something that a lady could do for fitness?
It's very popular with the ladies, and we're in this world where women's rights, they want to fight as well. So it's become such that when they have a boxing tournament in the pro ranks in South Africa, you have to have one lady fight on the tournament, okay? Which is great, because it allows them to definitely have a place in the world. They had a tournament down in Natal recently, which is KwaZulu, and it was just a ladies tournament only. So ladies are making a huge impact in boxing, eh? Even in the MMA world, but essentially boxing. And I'll tell you, a lot of them are a lot better. I watched women's soccer the other day. There was no falling down, and they were bleeding and things like that, and they weren't crying like Cristiano Ronaldo.
True.
I can definitely be a testament to that. I think my sister has been a religious boxer for about 15 years now. She hasn't done it for competing reasons, but it is the most fun exercise that she's ever done, and she doesn't miss sessions. She has her trainer. She enjoys it. I think she definitely beat me up. The way that she can swing and just do her combinations, and when she does the shadow boxing and all of that, I can definitely be a testament to that. But just going back to what you originally said there, Anton, I think life does have these big cycles, and South Africa does have the history. I mean, I think you were telling us earlier, and you can share the correct information, when we had 3 of the world champions, South African boxers. And it's great for boxing in all aspects, because it's not just people that are going to compete. Some people obviously maybe want to do it for that reason, but it gives you like a role model. It gives you something to try out, and that just makes it more inclusive. And people might end up becoming, like you said, people that you've built up in your gym to get titles and things like this. But it also just gets people through the door, and it's good for business, it's good for you, but it's also just good for the whole boxing community in general, because more people will know about it, and more people will obviously try it out.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to name drop a bit here. I have a fighter called Paul Kamanga. He lived in 2 back rooms with his 9 family members in Rosettenville, which is an impoverished area. It's the same as Hillbrow. It took him to 27 amateur fights. He only had 3 losses, which he reversed those losses. He had 19 pro fights with golden gloves. He won all of them. We took him to a world title in his 20th fight in Russia. Every single member of his family got employed through our sphere of influence, myself and Raymond Serfontein, my good friend and also partner in boxing in the pro side. And every single one of them have become successful in their own right, because they're very intelligent people that we were looking after. So, that's just one example. My first client that I ever had here at my boxing gym was a guy called Stephen, and he had some mental issues. He was 29, and he had this big company, and it was going really well, but he wasn't on board. He had depression. Here's the funny part. He got his nose broken by the bad guy in the south, but he was going to have a go. And due to that, he never had depression again. Landed up running one of the big motor corporations in the north of Johannesburg, Sandton, and he just flourished after that. So that was my first example of what boxing can do. And I got 4,000 or 5,000 stories I could tell you about. Boxing will just lift people out of the doldrums of mental and health situations and give them another breath of life.
That's such an inspirational story, and I'm sure there are many more that you could tell us. But I think the most important thing that people need to know now, Anton, is how do people get hold of you, and who ideally would you be looking to come through your doors? Who is your ideal client, and how do we get hold of you?
So look, I could monopolize this and say I'm the only guy that does this, but there are boxing gyms all over South Africa, professional, amateur, and white collar, and some of them harbor all 3 of those. Okay. So I would say go onto Google Maps, find the closest boxing gym to you, go through a little bit of Googling about your trainer, who's going to train you. Because the most important thing is the trainer. Okay, we've done the research at Fight with Insight, and they said that if you're going to go to boxing, your trainer has to be phenomenal. Okay, so go find a boxer that's got good rapport with people and is doing good things for community, and Google Maps and just Googling will give you all that you need to do. Go find a gym. That's what I want people to do. In my sector, which is the south of Johannesburg, I want people to join my gym. I want them to then start to endorse and encourage the rehabilitation of our area, because there's drug lords everywhere. It's becoming, it's very crime ridden, and that's a big thing. I love the south. My gym's at Southern Suburbs Recreation Centre. It's called the Phoenix because things die and things are reborn. And currently we're busy with the rebirth thing. We got level 7 soccer starting here. They're rehabilitating the tennis courts. The whole centre is being rebirthed. We've got Clubhouse Grill next door, which is the old bowling green. They've got sports there and a restaurant. So I'm looking for the South to rise from this whole conversation and from what I'm doing. But I think every other boxing gym in South Africa, and every other former boxing champion, and every other guy that wanted to be a world champion can do so much for people. If you get rebirthed in a boxing gym, those guys with the sphere of influence can do a lot of good work for society. That's the bottom line. I just want people to be happy and look after the environment.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Anton. But please, can you just share us, where's the best way to get hold of you? Is there a phone number? Is it an email address? just so people can get in contact with you, especially with all of the insightful information and knowledgeable things that you've shared with us today.
Okay, good. I can point people in a lot of directions. If they don't get involved, I can point them in those people need help and things like that. Because I'm feeding people, 120 people, 140 people a week. Anyway, box office Jim, small letters, @gmail.com. My phone number is 083-653-0190. And I'm on Facebook as Anton Gillmore.
Awesome. Box office Jim @gmail.com. And then at Anton Gillmore, you can find you on Facebook. Perfect. And we've got your cell number as well. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Anton, for giving us a brand new perspective on boxing and educating us in the world of boxing. So that was amazing. Thank you for your time, and I hope you go from strength to strength.
Okay, thank you guys, because you're starting to expose people that are doing things and the new fad and what have you. But just thank you a lot for giving me a break.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Take care.
I'll have you on.